Page 11, section 1.2. Question 1 says, use your calculator to simplify these fractions. Well, I got 12 over 60. Now, what I've got on my machine is this button here. It's called the A, B, C button, and I'm sure I've done one of these before under Unit 1. You simply type in, this is for the old Casio ones, you go 12, then you press the A, B, C button, then you press the 60, then you press the equal. So let's see what happens there. So here I go, 12, ABC button, 60. Don't know if you can see that. Alright, so that's what the ABC button does. It puts it into a fraction, and that gives me 1 over 5. In other words, the answer is 1/5. Now, it's obviously very simple to simplify this because 12 goes into 65 times, so it's essentially a fifth anyway, but since we're allowed to use a machine. Now, the more modern Casios, and I know I've done this before, have got this button instead. Instead of the ABC button, they've got a little filled-in little rectangle, then a division line, then an open whiter rectangle like that. So this is the equivalent to the ABC button on the modern Casios. Alright? Well, I haven't got one of those, so I'm sorry. So that's how you do it. I think I'll do another one. It's got here 45 over 180. I'm sure I can do that very easily, but anyway, I'm going to use my ABC button. So I'm just going to speak it out now. 45 ABC button 180 equals, and it simplifies it to a quarter. Now, obviously, 45 goes into 184 times, hence it's a quarter anyway. Nothing more to say about that. Question 3. Use your calculator for this question. Alright. Express these improper fractions as mixed numbers. I don't even see why we need a calculator for this. Anyway, 7 goes into 10 once, and 3 left over. 1 3/7. Working along the page, across the screen. 15 over 2, it's top heavy, isn't it? 2 goes into 15. How many times? I'll make that about 7. 2 7s are 14, 1 left over, 7.5. Next one, 17 over 4, that is in fact going to be a 7. 4 goes in there 4 times, because 4 4 is 16, 1 left over, 4 1/4. That's all I want to say about that. Next one, express these mixed numbers as improper fractions. So now we're working backwards, and I'm supposed to use a calculator, but please no. Anyway, 2 times 4 gives me 8 quarters. 8 plus those 3 is 11 quarters. Let's just check that it works. 4 goes into 11 twice. 2 4s are 8 with 3 left over. It works perfectly well. Alright, do another one. I've got 1 7/8 as a mixed number. Well, very simple. To top heavy it again, we go 1 times 8 gives me 8/8 plus those 7 gives me 15/8. I'm going to pause the video just to see if I can actually use the ABC button, and I'll get back to you straight away. Okay, I'm back. I'm resuming this very same question. Now, this is what I did on my calculator to go from a mixed number to this top-heavy fraction here. I went 1 ABC button, and then I pressed my 7, then the ABC button, then I pressed the 8. So I've got 1 7/8. Alright, so that's that represented by that little arrangement there. And then I pressed Shift on my calculator, and then I pressed the ABC button again. And what that did is release this little function called D over C. So this gave me a function called, I told you this is complicated, D over C. In other words, a number over a number, a top heavy fraction. When I did that, I actually got this. 15 over 8. That's what's on my calculator right now. So there it is. If you can see that, I've got 1 7/8. When I pressed the Shift ABC button, it gave me the upper function directly above it, and that gave me 15/8. Let's see if I can just work backwards on that one. Yes, I pressed Shift ABC button again, and it went back to the mixed number, the 1 7/8. I'm now going to go Shift ABC again. Yes, I've pressed Shift ABC, it goes back to top heavy. So you can go from top heavy to mixed number, and vice versa, just using the ABC function and the Shift ABC function. You experiment with that, and of course if you've got this modern button here, then by all means, use that one. Alright, so therefore I've learnt something today. You shouldn't normally need to use a calculator to go from mixed number to top heavy and vice versa, but anyway, we'll do it. Now I'm going to do question 4. I think I better turn over, take some fresh space. I've got to use my calculator, or your calculator, to write the first quantity as a fraction of the second quantity. Well, I've got 25 minutes and I've got 2.5 hours. Now, alright, we can't mix hours and minutes, but we can say I've got 25 over, that's minutes, over 2.5 hours, but please note that hours and minutes are not based upon tens and hundreds and what have you, it's based on 60s. So actually 25 minutes divided by, well, 2.5 times 60. I'm allowed to use my calculator. So it's 2.5 hours times 60 minutes. So 2.5 hours is 150 minutes. So I'm expressing that as minutes. Now I'm allowed to use my calculator to simplify. I don't need to do that because I know that 25 goes into 150. How many times? 6 times. So here I go. I'll use my ABC button. So 25 ABC button 150. Hope you can see that. I'm now going to press equals, and there it is, 1/6. Okay, 1 little slash 6. It looks like that on the calculator, but it actually means 1/6. And that's very, very easy, isn't it? Again, please note we can't use mixed units to get a fraction that has any real meaning behind it. You must unravel the meaning. So the units rather. I've got here. This is D, 400 grams over 1.2 kilograms. Of course, that's not allowed. So I've got 400 grams over 1,200 grams. Now, honestly, please, let's just not bother with the calculator here, because it cancels ever so beautifully. Let's just destroy a few of these zeros. 4 over 12, well, that's going to be exactly 1/3, isn't it? Again, I'm not going to show you the ABC button on that. It's just unbearably easy. Plus, we've hit the D zone anyway. Just turning over the page now. I'll probably do question 6. I am on page 12. Pigs have an average weight of 150 pounds. So I'll put here 150 pounds in weight, as opposed to kilograms, and a stomach weighing 6 pounds. Okay, so 6 pounds for the tummy. It says, what fraction of a pig's total weight, that one, is the weight of its stomach? So it's 6 out of 150, and now I'm going to simplify it using my ABC button because I can. So 6 ABC 150, you can see that, equals, oh look, 1 over 25. So a 25th of the weight of a pig is its tummy. That's probably why they call it a pig. Anyway, then there's a question about sheep as well, and essentially sheep is this one for sheep. It's 30 pounds out of a weight of 120. Well, that's clearly a quarter. Now this is shocking. A quarter of the weight of a sheep is due to the weight of its stomach. Unbelievable, isn't it? Then they've thrown question 8 at me. Don't need to do that, but I don't know, let's just do a few in case this comes up. So question 8 says, find the missing fractions. Well, 2/3 times something makes 1. Can you see that if I flip this and go 3 over 2, I've got 2 times 3 is 6, I've got 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. Alright, so just to prove that it works, this cancels out, becomes 1. 2 goes into himself once and once. 1 times 1, etc. Loads of ones. So that's another way of thinking about it. Don't really need a machine for that. Let's just do this one. I've got 2/3. Again, I'm allowed to use a machine. I'll pick it up if I get stuck. So 2/3 plus something makes a whole. Well, onto 2/3, if I add another third, I've got myself 3/3, which is 1 whole. I think I'll do another one. I've got here 2/3 take away something makes 1. How can you take something away from 2/3 and end up with a whole? I know what. It's going to be minus a third, because even with fractions the minus rule becomes plus, and I put a little ring around that. Look at it carefully, and that becomes positive. So essentially I have 2/3 plus 1/3 is 3/3, and that is obviously 1/2, isn't it? Right, now look at this one here, and don't be baffed by it, but look at it. It says here P over Q times something makes 1. Well, P times what? Well, look, it's just like the 2/3 and 3/2 business. You multiply this by the reciprocal, and you end up with Q over P, and we have P times Q upstairs, which is basically PQ, divided by Q times P. Well, that's the same as PQ, isn't it? And PQ divided by himself is 1. End of. There you go. So don't be fooled if letters get thrown in your face. And I'll probably stop now and then look at something else for the third vid. Thank you.